Thanks.
Lessons continue in the school of hard knocks. Have they got what it takes to prove their best? Will the Prince, Squads at 16, continues tonight at 9 on Channel 5. Catch the first episode of My 5 Online.
Investigators study the vertical stabilizer recovered from Jamaica Bay. They look for any clues that might explain why it broke off.
Here's a case where the vertical stabilizer failed during a routine flight. And this is a very rare event, and we're trying to understand what are the factors involved in it.
As they take a closer look at the edge that broke away from the rest of the plane, they make a surprising discovery.
Fitting just ripped apart.
The vertical stabilizer is attached to the plane mainly by 3 pairs of fittings. For some reason, they all failed. It's a confounding discovery. The stabilizer is made of a modern composite material that's designed to be stronger than steel. Perhaps its strength has been overestimated.
It's actually the first accident that we had investigated where a large composite component had failed. So that became a question in our minds.
Composites are made by fusing more than 100 layers of carbon and glass fiber. Because they're both strong and lightweight, they're increasingly common in aircraft designs.
Almost all aircraft are going to find some type of composite material on that airplane somewhere.
Boeing plans to use carbon composite as the primary material for its new 787 Dreamliner. If composites can fail so easily, it could jeopardize the lives of thousands of people and cripple the airline industry.
If it was a structural failure, it would affect not only the accident aircraft, but the entire Airbus A300 fleet. So if there was a design flaw in the aircraft, we needed to know that very, very quickly.
Investigators comb through the manufacturing records of the downed A300. They discover some disturbing information about the stabilizer mounts.
An investigation of the early manufacturing build records from this vertical stabilizer did reveal that after it went through its inspection, it actually was noted and determined that there was a large delamination.
Delamination is the separation of the hundreds of layers which make up the composite. In other words, the material literally begins to peel apart.
You would see a reduction in the strength of the overall piece of structure, quite possibly due to that delamination.
Airbus had to repair the part before the plane was delivered to American Airlines. If the laminate failed before, perhaps it failed again.
What you're worried about in your composite structure is fairly visible impact damage.
Can't hear, sounds a lot.
The microscopic scans of the composite material looking for evidence of delamination.
Looks fine.
They come up empty. There's no sign that the composite is peeling apart. If the material wasn't the problem, then perhaps it's the design of the mounts that's faulty.
Now that we know the material system is okay, and that there are no manufacturing defects, now we have to make sure, well, did they miss it? Did Airbus drop the ball and the tail was just under-designed from day one?
The vertical stabilizer must withstand huge forces when the rudder deflects fast-moving air in flight. To test the design of the stabilizer mounts, investigators enlist the help of the manufacturer.
Airbus was a great party to the investigation. They were very eager to get an answer, very eager to defend the product.
All right, ready to start the test? Let's go.
Investigators want to know if the
100,000 pounds of holding. So far, so good.
the fitting has met its design requirements.
So this, in essence, confirmed the fact that the design of the vertical stabilizer attached points was good.
But the test isn't over.
Let's keep going.
Investigators apply more pressure.
That's 150,000.
They want to know exactly how much force it must have taken to snap the tail on Flight 587.
Let's keep going.
In dramatic fashion, they have their answer.
At the time the vertical stabilizer failed, the right rear lug was experiencing a load of about 200,000 pounds of force.
That's twice the force that the mounts were designed to handle.
So what would cause that kind of pressure?
Somehow, more than 200,000 pounds of pressure ripped the tail fin from the plane, a force far stronger than anything an A300 should normally encounter.
We knew, of course, from listening to the air traffic control tapes, that the accident aircraft took off a minute and a half or 2 minutes after a JAL, Japanese airline, Boeing 747.
A little late turbulence, huh?
The captain says, little wake turbulence, huh?
Could that turbulence have been strong enough to tear the tail from the plane? Wake turbulence is caused by the movement of air over and under the wing. When the two streams of air meet at the wingtips, they combine to create a powerful vortex that trails behind the plane.
So you can almost imagine two tornadoes coming off the wingtips of an aircraft. The effects of wake turbulence vary upon the size of the aircraft encountered in the turbulence.
Small planes face the greatest risk, especially when flying behind large airlines. The powerful turbulence can be catastrophic. Pilots are trained to avoid the wakes coming off planes ahead of them by staying back a safe distance. Investigators wonder if the pilots of Flight 587 miscalculated that distance as they waited to take off behind a jumbo jet.
Japan Airlines 47 Heavy, runway 31 left, cleared for takeoff.
The JAL flight took off at 11 minutes after 9.
American 587 Kennedy Tower, caution wake turbulence, runway 31 left. Taxi in position and hold.
You have the airplane.
They had been cautioned about wake turbulence behind the 747 by air traffic, so they would all have been aware of it.
A minute and a half later, Flight 587 was cleared to take off in the same direction.
American 587, runway 31 left, cleared for takeoff.
Investigators know the first officer was concerned about their distance from the 747.
You happy with that distance?
We'll be okay once we get rolling. This must be 5 miles by the time we're airborne. That's the idea.
So you're happy? Like,
Maybe they got too close.
If the pilots misjudge the distance to the plane ahead,
I'm on the roll.
airport radar information should reveal their mistake. Investigators plot the paths and distance of the two planes.
They were closer than 5 miles. They should have been fine.
Their calculations show that Flight 587 was fine at a safe distance. The wake should be too weak to be dangerous.
The separation was entirely within Federal Aviation Administration regulations.
But after they hit the wake, the tail falls off. Is this some kind of super wake?
Something with more than 200,000 pounds of pressure onto the tail to make it snap. If the wake was unusually strong, it might explain it.
Our job then became to figure out how strong the wakes were.
Many factors can influence the intensity and direction of wake turbulence, the strongest of which is weather.
Weather and wake turbulence go hand in hand in a sense. In fact, wake turbulence is almost a weather phenomenon. It's air movement. In a perfectly calm wind condition, for instance, wake turbulence off of an aircraft goes straight back and affects anything straight behind it. If you have a crosswind, the wakes off the tips of the wings actually blow with the wind. They remain rotating, but they move.
The winds were just 11 knots.
Investigators discovered that there was very little wind as Flight 587 took off. That may have made things worse. There was no wind to help dissipate the vortex. NASA scientists conduct a study to determine exactly how strong the wake would have been.
They said at the time of the encounter by the accident aircraft, the weight from the 747 had dissipated 20 to 40% or so.
The vertical stabilizer can withstand almost 200,000 pounds of bending force. Even at full strength, the weight from a 747 should not be strong enough to snap the tail off an A300. At 80% of its strength, it could not have done any damage at all.
Not even close to what it would take to rip the tail off an Airbus.
The overall strength of the wake itself was not capable of upsetting a large aircraft like an A300.
Investigators return to the best clue they have, the unusual rudder movements.
11 degrees left. 11 degrees right.
We saw the rudder go back and forth to its maximum deflection several times very, very rapidly. As of this point, we still didn't know why, but that was something that raised our eyebrows.
11 degrees left. 11 degrees right. Could he rip the tail off his own plane?
We need to determine whether that particular motion would be violent enough to snap the vertical stabilizer off.
Normally, pilots only move the rudder a couple of degrees in either direction to steer the plane. Investigators wonder if the extreme rudder movements on Flight 587 created the aerodynamic force needed to tear the stabilizer off.
You ready?
To find out, they create a computer simulation of an A300 and fly it the same way as First Officer Malin, moving the rudder 11 degrees back and forth 3 times.
With each rudder deflection, the aerodynamic load on the tail increase.
There. That would have done it.
And it was those increasing loads that caused this.
They concluded that it was the inputs that were being made on the controls that led to the structural failure, and then no other factor.
Well, he's doing it to himself.
And by way of analogy, you stick your hand out the car window going 60 miles an hour, and you can feel it being pushed backwards. Well, try sticking your hand out the window when you're going 250 miles an hour. And you probably lose your hand.
The discovery finally explains what happened to a